What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's Torrence here, and in today's video, as you can see, I am bringing the Rosy Neutral Drama. The palette I was using, I've heard nothing but good things about, and although I grabbed it at launch, I was having some personal issues that I was dealing with, and I just truly did not feel like getting into that palette. But today, as you can see, I am doing full face, like full face, honey. Although I might have forgot and did some steps out of routine. We ain't gonna talk about that right now. But I am loving this look. As someone who is extremely comfortable with either glosses or nude lips, this pink one was taking me out of my comfort zone. But in the end, I'm looking like, oh, she beautiful. And y'all gonna have to forgive me, honey. You know I have a large collection, and although I try to use things that I know you all can pick up and grab at the moment, there are some things that I am wearing in today's tutorial. I'm looking around, and so far I do think it's only one item. The other one here that I'm looking at, it is still sold by the company, but many times it's sold out. But this lipstick combo, honey, I'm sorry. I just had to test it out before I threw it away. And now that I'm looking at it, I don't see me throwing it away. But if you all like this look, please give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you're also subscribed to the channel before we get started. If you're already subscribed, I would like to say thank you. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. But if you like this look, make sure you give this video a thumbs up so I can do more tutorials like it. Also, make sure you hit that subscribe button before we get into this tutorial. But with nothing else, let's go ahead and jump into this look. First off, I'm supposed to be heading to bed. The t-shirt I'm wearing now, it used to be a little too big for me last year, but he feeling real comfortable this year, so a little salty, but we gonna change that when we get back in the gym. But I had to be honest and tell myself, like, are you really gonna wake up early before work, do your makeup, go to work, then come home and stay up and edit the next video? That didn't sound like fun because I was already having too much fun with my mattress. So I figured if we do it tonight, we can sleep in tomorrow morning, go to work, and only have to worry about doing that editing tomorrow afternoon. So let's get into it. And I promised you all we would do 4 videos this week. The first video was a very simple tutorial. I'll make sure I leave that one link right here above. This one here is going to be more like my everyday tutorial. To me, I consider it more intermediate because I believe anyone with practice can achieve such a look. And for the third look, I'm going to do something a little more dramatic, a little bit over the top. And because I was headed to bed, I got all my little nighttime moisturizers and things on. And normally for these tutorials, I will come in with my eyes already, with my eyes already primed and my brows done. But I want to give this moisturizer a little time to do what it do for the skin. So we're going to go ahead, jump into swatches and things. And then when we jump into the tutorial, we already had that done for y'all. I understand if you want this palette, you've probably already picked it up or you already watched tutorials. But I'm finally going to do the Tartelette Juicy palette. When I first picked this bad boy up, it just wasn't a really good time. I just really was not looking forward to 1, just playing with basic neutrals, or 2, trying to swatch 20 different shades. I know that they are very helpful for you all, so I try to make sure I do swatches with all tutorials, but let me tell you, honey, when you see something like this and you pick it up as a consumer, it's fun and beautiful. As a reviewer, talk about rude. Please excuse me if y'all hear them screeching outside. And that's another thing too, before we get into that, I've been playing with my settings on this camera real quick. That very first video was one setting. This one, I've turned that filter completely off. So I'm gonna be checking with y'all on the audio. Just leave me a comment down below letting me know if you like this audio or the way I normally do it. But with this palette, we have 20 different shades. They still call this the Tartelette palette, even though for the first 3, they were 12 pan palettes. I have all 3 of those. Not only have they changed up the number of shadows, they've also changed up the pan size and shapes. So I'm looking at it a little weird. We like, the Tartelette formula was already good, but they promised us it's the same one. So that sounds like a good thing. The top 2 rows appear to be some rosy neutrals. The bottom 2 seem to be more warm tone neutrals, just your basic browns. And for me, this is like the perfect color story for a beginner, someone who doesn't have much in their collection, or someone who just knows their comfort zone. They like neutrals, but they like to stick away from really dark colors like blacks. I love me a matte black, so it's gonna be weird to stick away from it this time. But before we get started, I wanna go ahead and give you a close-up view of this palette and then also give you swatches. I'm hoping that this is the best view of this palette here. I wanted to try to give you a view of all 20 shadows up close. Right now, because I am so close to the camera, I can't see exactly what type of view you're getting, but I'm hoping this gives you a true to color view of what these colors look like. I also wanted to give you a close-up view of the top two rows as well as the bottom two rows alone, just so you can see the rosy color story versus the warm neutral color story. And you can see with just this one palette, it's like getting two 10-pan palettes in one. So I'm hoping that there are no duds in this palette because so far, just based off the color story, things are looking really beautiful. All right, the first thing I have to do is give this palette credit. These colors are pigmented and creamy. Nothing felt scratchy. Nothing, gave me a hard time with swatching or picking up. Everything is always done over no primer and just one swatch. This here is swatches of the first two rows. The shades left to right are shade number 1, Water Lily, number 2, Paradise, number 3, Rose, number 4, Orchid, 5, Dream Chaser, 6, Wishful, 7, Blossom, 8, Wildflower, 9, Petal, 10, Luscious. And this here is just one close-up view of them before we go to the next row. All right, you guys, we are back with rows 3 and 4. And first, I gotta say, although I usually hate doing swatches, I gotta admit, when you are working with a formula as creamy as this that doesn't have much fallout, it makes doing swatches 10 times easier. Although I love brands like ABH because they make incredible formulas, with formulas that soft, it can create a powdery mess and make it difficult. But with a palette like this, it was beautiful. And what was crazy to me is the fact that the pinky rosy tones were a lot smoother than these neutrals, and usually that's the other way around. So we're gonna have to dibble and dabble into both rows to make sure we figure out exactly which ones we like better. But we're gonna give you the shade names left to right here. And the names for the shades starting with the third row is shade 11, Inspiring, 12, Shine, 13, Fresh Start, 14, Dawn, 15, Charmed, 16, Reflect, 17, Happiness, 18, Dusk, 19, Grounded, and 20, Euphoric. I'm going to show you what they look like from a distance first. And this here is a close-up of rows 3 and 4. Now that I've shown you swatches and I'm really excited to get into this, what we're going to do is cut away. I'm going to do my brows and put on my eye primer, and when I come back, we'll be ready to jump into this. Oh yeah, excuse me honey, because thanks to the power of editing, it's only been a second for y'all, but it's been time for me to go ahead, set my brows and my eyes, and have dinner because I'm not trying to go to bed with all those calories on the gut. So when we get through with this, we can hop in the shower, then hop in the bed. But first we got to finish with y'all. And let me tell you honey, I am excited to get into this. I got to just remind myself we can't do nothing simple like we did on the last video. We got to do something more like our everyday look. And because I'm never want to just go all this one color, all that color, I'm, want to dibble and dabble into a little bit of everything. Let's go ahead and grab us a big fluffy brush and figure out what we gonna do. And as per usual, I try to put all tools and products used in the description bar below, and this video is gonna be no different, so let's get started. Because it's been a minute since I've been in full face, we're gonna start off right here with this shade Rose, and we're gonna use that as a transition shade. It's funny to think that I've been feeling down and bad for a while, and I'm feeling so much better now because I purchased this palette when it first dropped and just never got around to using it. All I kept thinking about is one, it's just another neutral palette, and two, all those shades, if it's dusty and powdery, honey, I'm gonna be mad with all the fallout and all the cleanup. But as you just saw right there before your eyes, honey, this blended out so quickly. I know Tarte may not have the biggest and best branding going on to help people, stay with the brand. But I'm telling you, the formula has always been beautiful. And just to see what kind of opacity we're going to get, I'm going to dip my brush one more time, tap off the excess, and we're going to blend this one once more, going as high as possible. Just want to see what kind of color she going to bring. And usually I'm someone who likes a much more yellow tone neutral or a cool tone. So to be going with something this rosy and pretty, it's automatically got me thinking of the Huda Beauty Naughty palette. I believe it's called the Naughty Nudes. I did a tutorial on that palette. If you all want to see that, you can check that one out right here. But so far, this is blending out beautifully. I'm mad because I feel like I got the hiccups because I just got through eating. And I was racing to get back to y'all, I ain't gonna lie. Wanted to add just a tiny bit here more on the outer edge. But that looked beautiful. I'm gonna jump ahead, do this on the other side, and I'll be right back. Baby, the blend on this thing is absolutely beautiful. I don't know what else I thought I could expect from Tarte because they ain't let me down just yet. But you know what? We're going to keep this going. And just because I want to deepen up my crease a little bit more just to see how far these colors will take me, I'm going to jump into this shade here, Petal, and use that to deepen up my crease and see how much deeper that is than the first shade. Alright, we have a slightly smaller blending brush, and this shade here, Petal, is much softer and has much more kickback. So I'm hoping it's much more pigmented. And unfortunately, honey, nah, she not gonna do that there. I'm not even about to waste my time with that. Nope. We're gonna try to test her out as a transition shade at a different time, but we're not about to waste our time on that one. All right, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna skip this shade Petal, and we're gonna come over here to this shade Luscious. It's still in that pinky family because this shade here is just not gonna get it for us. And with this shade here, Luscious, it isn't quite as soft as Petal, but it is really soft, almost up there. But this one here has some, it looks like gold reflective particles. So I'm guessing that's gonna help the blend go a little easier. I did knock off as much product as I possibly can because I just want to try to deepen this up. I did not want to use this as something that was gonna take over that pink that we already have in the crease. As our transition. So far she's doing her job. I wonder how much color would she give me if I try to just like truly go ham with it. Gonna knock off the excess. And this time we're gonna have a nice little bit of product on there. Okay, she cute. She ain't the world's deepest brown, but considering the fact we still have two other browns that come in this palette, we're gonna go ahead and say that ain't no loss yet. Because everybody can't go straight in with the world's deepest brown and blend that out. For those days you want a softer color, this might be perfect for that area. And it's truly helping deepen up that crease area there. Because I didn't want the whole look to just come off as straight pink. I did want some brown smoke to come through and help save the day. And considering she blends beautiful, I don't see any patchy areas. She built up and she's helping cool down this look a little bit for me. I can live with that. Okay, we're gonna take this, we're gonna put this on the other side, and I'll be right back. All right, baby, it is time to finish on with that. We got our crease set up. Now it's time to go ahead and cut things so we can get some lid shades going. And honey, it ain't no secret, we like cutting our crease with the NYX Glitter Primer and the Morphe M421 brush. It's just a combo that works for me, honey. It's cheap, it's effective, it's beautiful. And I'm not 100% worried about precision or anything like that. I just know I want to cut my crease rather high from front to back. We don't want to cover up that crease shade, but we do want to take this up to it. And just because I'm used to doing it, we're going to cut this crease in front of the eyelid by bringing our brush there. And then just meeting up with a smooth arch over to this side. Bam. Alright, I'll be right back after I do this on the other side. right, we got that done. Now it's time for some lid shades. See, that's just like me, racing too fast, trying to get too much done too soon. We're gonna take that same brush and go back into that shade Luscious because we want to fill up our outer V first. Completely forget this step, honey. Trying to race on up and out the dough and ain't did everything we needed first. I usually try to get a full brush head split, or usually like out to the outer end of my iris right there. Not iris, my pupil. Wait, I don't know which one I'm talking about, honey. Y'all know, the whole eye right there. As long as it can meet up right here on the edge, I usually consider that enough. That gives me enough room to play with and add another color if need be. And because I like doing the most, today we needs to be doing all of that. So as you can see, we just pressed it on right there on top of that glitter adhesive, and it's gonna make sure our outer V is nice and deep, or at least deeper than what our crease is, which is what we want going on so far. And do we want to deepen it up more right now? We're gonna go ahead now and put on some lid shades. So what I'm going to do, simply because I like the name, is I'm gonna take this shade here, Wildflower, and put that on the front half of my lid. Just because wildflowers sound like it'd be nice to see at the time of dawn, we're gonna use this shade here, Dawn, on the outer half. Gonna keep it moving from there. Okay, Wildflower picked up rather easily, but she looked like she's gonna be a rather subtle shimmer. Just from picking her up, she don't look like she got that chunky foilness where she's gonna be all over the place and you just gonna be able to see her from a mile away. But she is bringing pigmentation. She is bringing shine, so she's not a lackluster shade. She's just for that day where you don't want to go all over and be dramatic. And I'm gonna bring that right there to the front of my eyelid right there. To the front of my iris. So we got matte to the outside, shimmer to the inside, and then that middle area, we'll be able to put another color. So you can see that color is bringing a shine. She is bringing some color there. I want to see if I can layer her to see what she gonna do. Okay, and she layers too. We're only gonna do that one more time because we don't want her to get too much shine going on to compete with my next color. All right, I'll be right back after I do this on the other side. But now we're gonna flip our brush over and we about to jump into that shade Dawn. Oh, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, honey. Dawn was giving me a little trouble trying to pick her up, so she better come with the fullness, because I kept saying in the beginning those neutrals was a little harder to pick up than the pink tone shades. And I'm already feeling the little chunky fallouts from this one. Oop, Dawn, you ain't having fun? Something tells me this probably will pick up better with your finger or with a silicone applicator. So on the other side, that's what we're gonna test her out with. Because with this brush, I don't think she like me. She on there and she cute, but the energy it took to get her up there got me wondering why we working so hard. So let me try with my silicone applicator with this next one. All right, we picked it up with the silicone applicator. Oh yeah, 10 times better with the silicone applicator, because with the with the brush, she just wasn't playing fair, and I couldn't figure out why. So that might explain why the neutrals are a little harder to pick up. So more than likely, you're going to either want to A, use a silicone applicator, or B, use your finger with these shades. If not, you may not get the full shine and opacity that this color Dawn has to offer. Yeah, because she look way more quad on that side. Come back on this side and use it. Yeah, that looks way better. Now we're gonna go back into our smaller blending brush, diffuse the edges up against Dawn. I didn't add any more of the shade Luscious. I'm just using what was there just to soften these edges. And now I want to really deepen things up, so I'm going to go into this darkest shade here, Euphoric, and use my smallest blending brush. I'm going to use that to deepen up my outer V as well as the very outer half of my lower crease. Okay, this color is pigmented and that shade has some kickback, so we want to knock off as much as possible. I'm just going to lay my brush right here on the outer half, press, and just sweep back. That way this corner on the outer end is the absolute deepest. I'm going to do that on both sides. Then what we're going to do is dip just the tip of our brush in there. We don't want to try to get any of the sides in there. Knock off as much as possible. And use that to blend out on the lowest part of our crease, but we want to only come up to the shade Dawn. We do not want to go up to that shade Wildflower. We want this color to be drawn to the outer half of the eye. I want to keep this brush as low as possible, just to deepen up that socket in the crease. You see how that's going? On this side, we didn't take and bring it in just yet, but on this side we have, and it makes the eye sink in a little bit more. It's simply because I have hooded eyes, and I like my crease to actually look like it's that high up. I'll be right back after I do this on the other side. Baby, 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 look at this. I know we were supposed to be going soft and subtle and neutral, but sorry. All right, now we want to cut away. I want to go ahead, put on primer, and then I'll decide which foundation and concealer I'm gonna put on, and I'll be right back after I tell you. I figured ain't no point of switching things up too much, so what we're gonna do is finish trying to use up our Maybelline Master Prime in the shade 050. We're gonna use this as primer. For foundation, we're gonna go in with our NARS Sheer Glow. And for concealer, we're gonna go in with the Too Faced Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. And I know I'm gonna bake with my Laura Mercier Translucent Honey Powder, but I do not know where it's at right now. More than likely, I done left it downstairs, so I'm gonna be back, and when I come back, more than likely, I'll either be finished with my makeup and show you the rest of the details, or I'll come back while I'm still baking. I'll figure that out when we're done. Yes, sis, you could tell I've been missing my makeup. I am baking and caking real hard. Normally, I would do my entire face, but I figured, you know what, we're gonna just stick to the highlighted areas because we don't need this to last all day. But I thought I was gonna have time to do a full detailed get ready with me video. We just gonna have to do these three as just showing how they increasingly get more dramatic, and I can do an upcoming get ready with me video. But today, we're gonna go ahead, knock this off. The powder that I still have there, the brush I used to knock it off, I'm just gonna use that to dust across the areas that don't have powder right now. But I'm gonna finish my face. I'll come back and tell you what we used, and then I'll show you how we're gonna finish off the eyes and the lips. We are back, and as you can see, we have been having a little bit of fun. I've been playing with things that I normally don't play with, so I gotta let y'all know off camera what I used. First off, for blush, I think I've only used this blush once when I did a drugstore tutorial. I'll make sure I leave that video linked right here above. I think that was actually for Valentine's Day. That was an affordable look I did. This is the Baked Powder Blush by Milani in the shade 01 Dolce Pink. This is very pretty and very subtle. Normally I would go in and do my finishing powders first, and then I would go over with my blush and my highlighter. I accidentally reversed those two orders today. So even though this pink looks like it'll be over the top, you can sheer it out and get a very beautiful look. But by me putting my finishing powder on top, which was a mistake, it did give me a much more softer look. So I'm not mad at it, because I'm like, you can see that pink there on my cheek, but it's not overpowering. So I'm like, come on through. For highlighter, I've purchased this highlighter and I keep forgetting what it looks like on the skin. This is the Give Me Glow Luminous Highlighter in the shade Champagne and Lilies. I purchased it simply because champagne sounds expensive. Lilies are my favorite flowers. And to know that this was actually my skin tone shade, I had to get it. And now I'm gonna make sure I say out loud so I can always have a reference. This formula is very beautiful. It does have some sparkly kick up. And when you put it on, you do want to take your time because it is very pigmented. It can go from 0 to 100 real quick. And this is how nice and beaming it is with a finishing powder on top of it. Not with the highlighter sitting on top of everything. I put the highlighter down first and then bumped the finishing powder on top of it, and it's still giving me a gorgeous glow, so absolutely love this bad boy. And for the lips, although I've worn this lip pencil before, I don't think I've ever actually worn this lipstick. And truth be told, I think they've discontinued this formula altogether. This combo is from MAC Cosmetics. I'm wearing their lip liner in the shade Chestnut. Use this all the time. It's usually this or Cork from MAC, depending on how bold I want to go. Because I knew how loud and pink this lip was, I did not want to be walking around looking like I work for tips. We just gonna put it like that, honey, because I got really big lips, so I need that lip pencil to define the shape of my lips. We got it going. But this here is the Lip Tensity lipstick in the shade Medium Rare. I have, I think, 3 different lipsticks from MAC in this formula, and I never used this one before because when I first got into lipsticks, I always tried to be lazy and never do lip liner, and found out the pale and really pink shades are the shades I don't like. But with the liner, as you can see today, this shade Medium Rare is a bold pink shade. I would never wear this without a liner. But what's something as dark as chestnut? Honey, Medium Rare got me looking as juicy as the steak that they named it after, honey. I am loving this. So I now might have me a new combo I can go ahead and wear. Happy about that. For mascara, I am still testing out the Marc Jacobs, what is this called? This is the At Lash Lifting and Volumizing Mascara by Marc Jacobs. I have a sample in the shade 42 Blacker, and I'm telling you, I like her a little bit more than I did the first time. I wore this in my previous tutorial, and usually when you first open a mascara, I find that the formula you get when you very first open it isn't the same as if you use it, let's say, consistently for a week. I think it seems to thicken up just a little bit, and then that's when you find out the true, texture and longevity of the formula. To me today, I got a little more separation, a little more volume, and a little more curl from this mascara. Just like with the first time, I'm not wearing a mascara primer, but I think the next time I do it, I will, just to see how it works. I have so many mascara primers that I tend to use them with every mascara just to give me a little longevity. And I ain't lying, honey. The first time I was like, oh, she basic. This time she coming off real pretty, and it was so pretty to the point I skipped eyeliner, and usually we don't do that. But I think so far that's all we did on the face. We did our normal contour with our KVD powder. So now we're gonna go ahead and show you how to finish off the eyes. Since we did everything with luscious and rose, I think that's what we're gonna finish it off with. I'm gonna go in with a pencil brush and put this on the lower lash line with rose, and then we're gonna go in with luscious and use that as a push liner brush. If I would have did it reverse, it would have given me a softer look, but to me, this top look is a little more dramatic, so we can go ahead and not worry about being subtle today. All right, and to make sure we get everything going, I usually like to start from the outer half, just because it's easier to clean up if we don't get things correctly. And although that color was nice and soft, just like what's on the top half, she is coming through nice and pigmented. I can tell that I have a pink shade there. And so using this with the pencil brush, I'm going to buff it nice and low because I want that pink to show through, and I'm going to connect it on this outer end. We're going to do it just one last time right here and all the way to the front, just to make sure those ends connect and meet. Beautiful. Going to go ahead and do this on the other side, and I'll be right back. And now to finish off the lower lash line, we're going to go back into this shade here, Luscious, and we're going to use that with the push liner brush on the lower lash line. I wanted this look to be slightly dramatic, but I did not want to go into that darkest shade, Euphoric. And actually, this ain't giving me the depth I want from a distance. I can see this right here, but I really don't think y'all can see that from over there. So instead of going into Euphoric, which is the darkest shade, we're going to go into this shade here, Grounded, which is the second darkest, because I want some definition, but I do not want my lower lash line to take over my top one. All right, let's see what she going to offer us. Okay, yeah, see, She bringing me just enough color to deepen that lower lash line up, but not so much where she gonna truly compete with the top. That's what I'm talking about. Even on camera, you can look and just see that that bottom half is a little smokier than this side, and that's all I want. Euphoric would have truly given me that, but I think it would have been so dark, it would have made you wonder if I was wearing eyeliner. And normally I do go for an eyeliner, but because we're not wearing one, we don't want our lashes on the bottom to stand out that much today. Alright, now it is time to hit up my favorite part of the eye whenever we are working with them. First, we're going to go up to this top shade here. This is the lightest metallic. It is called Water Lily, and I know we use that Champagne and Lilies highlighter, but water lilies are my favorite flower, so we're definitely going to use that for the center point right here in the corner of the eye. And just because I want something that's a little closer to my skin tone, we're going to use this shade here, Reflect, underneath the brow bone. Just in the pan, the shade Water Lily looks like it is brighter, but it does not look like it'll be as metallic. And baby, look at that. Even on camera, honey, she not playing with them. Oh, I'm talking about somebody not gonna have a metallic shine, honey. Just the creaminess in that color is saying, but you still gonna notice me. I'm sorry, y'all. I know I usually try to go for a slightly natural inner corner highlight, but I was so excited by that I had the palette on, sis. You're gonna have to give me a pass today. Boom. Honey, you could think I'm the ugliest thing in the world and I'ma still capture your attention with that inner eye corner highlight. Look at it. Oh. Let me hurry up and clean my brush off on the back of my hand and get into this Reflect shade, because honey, we're going to go in soft and subtle with that one. And make sure we hit underneath the brows. We just want it right there at the arch. Oh, she is gorgeous. Yeah, they named that right. Reflect, because you can even see on camera just how she came through. Oh yeah, I need a little bit more. We just a little bit more. Honey, it ain't fair how pretty that shade Reflect is. Oh, yes, ma'am. And see, I done completely forgot to put brow gel on just because it's the end of the night. But you know what? Considering the fact this only gonna be on for about another 10-20 minutes and then we taking this off, we're gonna go ahead and skip it and get to spraying things, because although she already looking cute, although she already looking soft, honey, when we spray it down, the glow gonna be real. So go ahead and get y'all sprays, because you know I'm gonna get mad. Alright, you guys, Fix Plus to give us a glowy do. All-nighter so things last all day. Cheap fan, expensive breeze, good times. Gonna give this a few more seconds to dry and I'll be back to show you all the final look. And this is the final look. I want to go ahead and give you all a full face view of things before I give you all my final thoughts. And tell me, honey, I am feeling so pretty in pink, you can't tell me nothing. As someone who usually isn't a big fan of pinky neutrals, either I want something bold, vibrant pink, or I want something just basic, warm neutral, this palette here is absolutely gorgeous. Not only that, to know that in the past I always tried to pair pink lipsticks up with pink liners and never liked it. And some kept telling me, Torrence, if you always like all your favorite lipsticks with a brown liner, why don't you do that with the pink ones? And I've been trying more and more pink glosses and peach glosses and lipsticks, but I think this is the most vibrant and loudest and brightest pink lipstick I've ever worn. And she not coming off bad. I think because I'm wearing the eyes, which are dramatic as well, it helps bring it down. Probably if I didn't wear any eyeshadow, my lips would stand out a little bit more. But today, honey, The skin is all nice and bronzy, honey. You see, I tried to carve off that double chin because maybe she's still selling and peeking in through right there. But the way I got this highlight coming through, you ain't even focused about that right now. But this palette here, Tarte has not let me down. This is another fabulous palette. The only thing, well, I would say the only two things I personally would change is, for me, I would really like a matte black. I understand everyone doesn't go for matte blacks, but just for me, I would personally take one. But if we wanted to say, Torrence, this is going to be that perfect everyday neutral palette that you don't need that black for, I'm going to give you that. But what I would like is to get rid of this shade here, Petal, and make her a little bit deeper and a little bit darker. I really wish you could take this palette and do a complete pink look. Although this shade probably would be nice and deep enough to possibly go into the crease for lighter skin complexions, on my complexion, once I use this shade Rose here, the only way to deepen that up is to come down to these browns, which isn't a problem, but if I wanted just that vibrant rose Valentine's Day romantic pink look, I really wish I could have achieved that from here. But other than that, I'm quite sure this shade Petal would come up beautiful. It'll probably come up a lot more peachy than this shade Rose here. So more than likely, I would just take this shade Petal and blend that out with something else on my next attempt. But everything was beautiful. With the neutrals, it does appear, because they do have they're not quite as smooth as the rosy tones. I would either recommend using the neutrals with either a silicone applicator or your finger. If that is a deal breaker for you, more than likely if you go in with a brush, you're going to get a softer look. If for any reason you want full opacity out of every shadow, you don't want to have to manipulate them, you want to treat them all the same, more than likely this is not the palette for you. I would get one of the original Tartelette palettes. But I think she's absolutely beautiful, and it truly is too late to take this palette back because I've held on to it for so long. But even if, let's say, I had till tomorrow to take it back, I would keep it because, one, it's beautiful. Two, this is a palette I would not feel bad about traveling with. The case is sturdy. The colors are something I have in my formula and in my kit. And if for any reason I lost this palette, it wouldn't be the end of the world. Now, let's say like something like my, would it be a neutral palette? Like my Master Palette by Mario, but ABH, she can't go nowhere. This one is something I would be willing to buy for family and friends because I believe this is a beautiful color story. As you can see, the colors say neutral and basic. This eye look says, who you calling basic, honey? We going over the top and we gonna catch everybody's attention. So you can take it there as long as you use the right techniques. Only problem I have with the packaging is, as you can see, she is gonna hold fingerprints no matter how you rub that, but they are easy to take off. I just really wish they would have put the word juicy across instead of the word tartelette, because Tarte already has an original tartelette palette. I own that one and it is 12 pans. So to only see that one word here, it just, if you're gonna put the word juicy on the sticker back here, you could have put that right across the front here. But the packaging is beautiful, the price is beautiful, the formula is beautiful. I just really believe this is for the person who either A, really likes and sticks to neutrals, or B, is a beginner in the makeup world and don't know exactly which formula to test out. Although it is a lot of shades, because once again, we have 20 shades here. If you were to just go in and look at this as either the top 10 as rosy neutrals or the bottom 10 as warm neutrals, you won't get, distracted and overwhelmed because there is a variance in colors as you saw in the swatches. So to me, screw a Morphe palette, grab something like this that, although it's large, it's much more concise and much more precise with the color story. And those are my final thoughts with today's palette. I hope you all truly did enjoy this tutorial. If you all did, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you're also subscribed to the channel. If you already are, I would like to say thank you. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my future uploads. And don't forget, I did promise you all 4 videos this week. So with this being video number 3, I'm going to consider this to be my intermediate tutorial simply because this is something I do on a regular basis. And most makeup wearers can achieve a look like this if you do a full face. My next one, I'm just gonna call it my expert level, even though I truly don't think it's gonna be an expert level. It's just gonna be a tutorial that's much more dramatic than the average everyday girl would feel comfortable with wearing. Truth be told, most women don't wear this much makeup, but if I were to do it on them, they would probably feel comfortable with it. That next one, I'm gonna really try to bring it for y'all. So with nothing else, I hope you all remember to practice, continue to stay blessed, and until next time, goodbye YouTube.